First responders, thank you for all that you do. I'm Garrett Martin of the Alberta First Responder Mortgage Program, a program I put together myself. After spending 8.5 years in law enforcement, I got my mortgage broker's license, and now I'm a proud sponsor of the Alberta First Responder Association and doing mortgages for first responders. No matter where you are in Canada, reach out. We're talking exclusive rate discounts, cashback offers, and guidance from someone who's been in your boots. I know the demands of the job, and I know how to make homeownership easier. Whether you're buying, renewing, or refinancing, I'll compare top lenders from across Canada to save you money. So visit garrettmartinmortgages.com or text me at 403-915-1025 and let's get to work for you. Thank you for your service.
And I'm going to start a timer because otherwise I will definitely run off the rails here. Let's go that. Okay, perfect. And are you ready to rock?
I am.
I love that. Okay, so we are going to go in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, guys. Season 9. I'm telling you, it has been fire. And if you haven't tuned into the last couple episodes, guys, get on it. Get fucking on it. Lock in. Let's go. Today, I am joined all the way from California by Dr. Tracy Covington. Dr. Tracy Covington is the owner of Wabi Sabi Circle, which creates meaningful week-long ketamine retreats specifically for women in the EMS field who are facing the challenges of PTSD, depression, and anxiety. What Dr. Tracy loves the most about these retreats is that they offer them at no cost to the participants, aside from their travel expenses. There's luxurious and nurturing accommodations focusing on ketamine-assisted therapy tailored to the unique experiences of female EMS providers. The retreats feature a range of bottom-up services such as equine therapy, sound baths, breathwork, yoga, and 5-point Acudetox, all aimed at helping these amazing women calm their nervous systems and reclaim their sense of self. I am hooked already, Tracy. When can I go? Sign me the fuck up. I'm going. Also, welcome to the podcast. So happy to have you here.
Hey, thank you so much. It is great to be here. I am so thrilled to get to share this. I am so excited to be here. Thank you for the invite.
Like I said, your name was passed on to me first from Nicole Ferry, then from Alex Jabber. And I've heard nothing but phenomenal things about your work and these retreats and just everything that you are bringing forward for our female first responders. And I was like, get me this girl, get me on her. Like, I need her on the podcast. So thank you for squeaking out time because again, you are a doctor, so you have clients. So we are squeezing this in between clients and classes and everything else that we've got going on. But it's going to be an action-packed little episode here. And I'm so pumped about it. So I'm literally not going to talk anymore. I'm going to turn it over to you. I want you to tell me all about this stuff, how this got started, where you came up with this phenomenal idea, and then how can we get involved?
All right. So quick backstory. I have a ketamine-assisted psychotherapy clinic in Redlands, California. I've been doing ketamine-assisted psychotherapy since 2020. And I have this lovely person in my life that offered me in 2023 she wanted to offer me some scholarship money. She said, I'd like to help some people maybe that can't completely afford because we are cash pay, no insurance coverage. So she said, I'd like to offer you that. And I turned her down because by the time people get to us in Redlands, California, they're fairly affluent. They can afford it. So I turned her down. And then I went to this psychedelic science conference in 2023. It's the big conference. I'm actually getting ready to go with it in 2 weeks. It's in Denver, Colorado. And at this conference, I'm used to doing individual, one-on-one ketamine-assisted psychotherapy. I do the gold standard. It's IV or IM ketamine, and I sit with the patient the whole time of the infusion. We do integration, we do prep, we do integration, the whole shebang. So I'm at this conference and I keep attending these workshops about group ketamine. I had not been exposed to that. And it was powerful. I mean, one of the talks was on the Nexium cult and how they treated the women who had gone through brainwashing of the cult and SA, and they did this week-long ketamine retreat for them for their recovery. And it was phenomenal, the results of it. So I kept sitting with that. Well, I go with my some of my people that I was there with to a Flaming Lips concert that night on one of the they do this psychedelic conference is just wild. So we're at a Flaming Lips concert, and my gals, my peeps are going down to dance down below, and I remember sitting there, Nikki. I'm sitting kind of up in the bleacher area, and I had this really wild experience. Everybody kind of went down to dance, and this whole clearing happened. And then in this clearing of people, there was this clearing of my mind. I'd been pondering and pondering this group, ketamine. It was so incredible to me because I've done women's retreats for years. I'm a clinical psychologist. I've been in practice for over 30 years. I've done women's retreats. I love women, to work with women. I love women's retreats. It's like my passion. And I'm kind of putting all this together. And in this clearing of people, in this clearing of my mind, I get this, I don't know, it sounds a little woo-woo, and I'm not always real woo, but this download comes to me, and it's kind of like, Tracy, do a group ketamine women's retreat and go back to your dear person who offered you those scholarship money and ask her, instead of spreading her little money over all these different, or ask her for everything, ask her for all the money, and give it a group retreat, all expenses paid, to a targeted, unserved community. Think about it. And so I just hold that in mind. And I remember walking back with my posse back to the hotel, and I'm telling them, I'm like, I got this vision. And they're just looking at me because we'd all, I had a really great evening and really high off of that. And they're just looking at me like, that sounds cool, Trace. That sounds really cool. Anyways, I get back to California, and I put a proposal together, and I asked this darling person in my life, I asked her if I can go over to present this proposal to her and her husband. And it was about, for a week, I added up what the staff needs would be and all the extra things I would want, because so much in the industry, we're always looking at cost-effective retreats, how to get it because it's expensive, how to get the least, how do we make it cost affordable for everybody? And my point is, I want to do it to to a population that's been underserved, and how to make it just balls to the walls amazing. Because if you do it right, the result should be fucking right. So I put it together, and I'm thinking, I want to do what's called bottom up instead of top down, which is a lot of psychologists focus on. We always focus right, cognition, cognitive behavioral. We always do top down. I want to because I know if we do it that way, it could be profound in working with the frozen body. So the next thing I have to think about is a target population, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So I go and propose this thing to them, and I say, here's the layout of what I want to do. It will cost about $85,000, $90,000 a week for about 8 participants. And they look at me, and I've presented all this, and like, this is what I can do. Well, they're big proponents of ketamine. They love the idea. They know what it can do. And they say, yes, they'll give me the money outright. And I sit and weep with them, and it's like, it's a thing. So then I have to think about what target population. I've been thinking about this. So I call my sister. I have a sister. I have 3. This sister, she's an internal medicine doc. So I call Rebecca, and I say, all right, so I've got this money now. I've got this amazing opportunity. What target? I want it to be only women. I want to target women. That's my passion. It's actually her passion too. She treats, as I said, internal medicine doc. What population? Without even taking a breath, she says, of course, EMS. Now, backstory on her is, she and I are both widows. We're young widows. And her husband had just passed. He was a firefighter, engineer, drove the truck, died tragically because of the wear and tear, psychologically and physically, from his job. And so this is big in our family. We have suffered tragically from the commitment and the passion. He loved his job. It was such an amazing fit for him, but it was huge wear and tear on his psychology and his physicality. So it was like, without a breath, she just said, EMS, of course, Trace, you know this. And I'm like, you're right. You're so right. It's the perfect fit. So off we went. And so from there, we created Wabi Sabi Circle. There's a whole story to why Wabi Sabi. It has a lot of context to really understanding it's called having tea with your feelings. It's not about having better feelings. It's about being better with your feelings. Mm-hmm. And our first retreat occurred October of 2024. And we just had our second retreat in March of 2025. So it's what we have.
Oh my God. And I talk about this all the time in my other episodes about how like we have to be open to what the universe is showing us. And oftentimes we like shut things down, even though we've said like, God, I wish the universe or God or whoever, right? Whoever you believe in, whatever you believe in, I wish it would give me a sign. And then the universe gives us 8,000 signs and we're like, no, that's not actually that's not the sign I was looking for, right? But when you're open to it and when you're just kind of throwing it out there, it is unbelievable what comes back to you in the sense of ideas, of, support, of like, again, just like an other perspective. Like you're like, okay, who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? And you ask one person, they're like, and then it's like, bing, of course, that's of course who it has to be. So I just love it. And the fact that the money came through for you guys and was just so given without like strings or without like, well, like that they just were like, yeah, absolutely. I love that. I think that's amazing. So okay, so we've had 2 retreats. Again, I've spoken to 2 people that were part of them who were singing the praises of these retreats, which I think is so freaking rad. So give me a little breakdown, because the first time I heard about this ketamine-assisted therapy, because literally I'd never heard of it before, was when I talked to Nicole Ferry. And she just kind of dropped it casually in the conversation. And then we finished the episode and I was like, I'm sorry, can you please talk to me a little bit more about this ketamine? Because what the fuck? Because like the only thing that I knew about ketamine was that it was a horse tranquilizer and inmates got high off it all the time. And we were trying to stop them taking it. Yeah. And now I'm like, I'm sorry, we're doing this on purpose. We're taking this
intentionally. Yeah.
And it's helping us. So tell me about that part.
So, yes. Well, so first of all, if I could just add that one of the cool things about doing it with EMS women is that I do believe they have 2 layers of trauma. They may have 3 layers. Partly their childhood we're finding that a lot of their childhood tends to put them in EMS work. It's kind of a draw for them. They know crises. They know they're pulled to that. They love to fix stuff. And then, of course, the career itself. And then there's the other layer is that we're finding that there is a lot of bullying that goes on. 70% of them are reporting that they are being harassed in their workplace, whether it's by patient or by their counterparts, the male counterparts. So there's a lot of statistical emphasis on the anxiety, PTSD, and depression that is showing up, particularly for the females in EMS. So I love that. Again, the target population we picked is really very underserved and really is a great target for ketamine. So why ketamine? Ketamine is profound for several levels. And I kind of wrap it up in a 4-stage level. People know that people think of it as a psychedelic. It has psychedelic properties. It's dissociative anesthetic. And so it's a reset. It kind of gives you a reboot on everything. It kind of helps the brain go, I remember how I was supposed to be before all this shit hit me, before all the crap came on me. I kind of remember how it was supposed to function, which is an incredible thing. It's like a truly like a push a button reset. And the evidence of who responds to this is like, if you think of antidepressants and treatment that we offer in our psychological world, you get a response rate of 30 to 40% for antidepressants. So I'm a clinical psychologist. I'm a trauma psychologist. I've treated trauma for over 30 years. And then I started my ketamine clinic in 2020. And again, I've treated trauma. What trauma takes, you're working with somebody, if they hang in there with you, anywhere between 3 to 6 years. And what I was seeing with the ketamine treatment that happens in 2 to 3 weeks, I was getting the same results of what was taking 3 to 6 years. Oh, it is a lot. And so the journey, it's a holy mother. It's amazing. Yeah. It still blows my mind here in 2025. I've been doing this for almost 4 years now. And it still blows my mind as I sit with people. The journey itself is an experiential. Sometimes based on what people have been through, they have these really profound visuals, and there's always usually a somatic experience, but people get sometimes too attached to the visuals, I think, because there's so many other things that are going on. The other thing that's happening is the dominant neurotransmitter glutamate is being stimulated or activated. So when you think again of antidepressants, they target serotonin. That's great. But your dominant neurotransmitter for mood stabilization or elevation is glutamate. And that's what ketamine goes after. So when you look at the brain under PET scan, you see the whole brain light up with ketamine. So you're connecting synapses and areas of the brain that have gone dormant, and you're bringing it all back online. So they use ketamine like in the ER for people who are severely depressed, suicidal, to snap them out of that suicidal ideation. And they can do a one-time intervention with ketamine, and it snaps them out of their suicidal thoughts. Again, we're seeing 76 to 87% responsivity rate to ketamine treatment versus our 30 to 40% of our regular traditional treatments. So the glutamate stimulation is profound. The second layer is there's this region of the brain, which I won't get into the weeds with it, but it's called the default mode network. And ketamine moves into that. It's like a psychological lubricant. So I always kind of give the analogy of if you've ever had a jewelry box and you throw in your little necklaces and those little tiny chains, and then one day you go in to pull one out and it's all tangled. If you've ever had that experience, it's like it's all tangled together. And you think, I don't know what the hell you guys have been doing in there. I don't know how you got tangled, but this is like your default mode network. You have belief systems, you have thought processes, you've got experientials, and they all get tangled in your subconscious. And so you don't even understand. You don't even know what you don't know about why you operate or act in certain ways because it's stuck in your subconscious. We get stuckness. There's a clinical term for it, stuckness. And what ketamine does is it goes in there and it detangles the default mode network. It goes in there and psychologically lubricates it out and brings you back into that space of everything back into that reset place. Phenomenal. And this, again, it's done over 6 treatments is the standard protocol based on Journal of American Medical Association. It was an article put out in 2017. And we kind of tend to follow that protocol. So that's another big thing. And then the other thing that it does is ketamine activates the medium length telomeres, your DNA strands, and rapidly grows those. And that's about 8 to 10 hours after your infusion or your IM. And so it lays new neural pathways for you in 8 to 10 hours. So we work a lot with integration post the session and holding in mind the things that you want to get put into your life. And that lays a new track. And so that's incredible, the rapid changes and the application that shows up almost immediately in that day and in of course, the weeks to come. So it's truly a profound intervention for those reasons and more. But those are the ones I dominantly like to highlight.
That's insane. That is insane. Like I literally had no idea, and I love it because there is so many layers. And like you said, the 30 to 40%, that's if you are consistently going to therapy, consistently putting into practice the strategies, consistently working and attending your appointments and, doing the work that you need to do outside of your 1 hour that you get, or if you're again on shitty benefits, you get 6 hours total and well, you better be fixed now and off you go. So I think that is phenomenal because it's not only, I feel like it's not just surface treating. And I don't want to like shit on psychologists and the work they're doing. Because again, that work is so important and everything, but it really can be just surface level if the patient is not fully invested, if they're not fully ready, or if maybe they're not connecting properly with the psychologist that they have. They got assigned to so-and-so and they're going because they have to go because they got PTSD and they have to do this to get back to work, but they're not actually connecting with that person. So this to me seems like it's like a straight shot into like, let's get your shit sorted. Let's get you on the right path. And then let's continue to work from it. But like kickstarting it. Yeah.
Say, Nikki, which is why it's so profound for a week retreat and for a group setting, because you get that additional layer, which I didn't mention, communal healing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the connectivity. So on our retreats, and of course, the first retreat was I still the chills in my body as I think about our group, our 8 that came in, and it was pretty funny. They were, we actually did applications, we accepted applications, and then I did interviews, and then we selected from there. I really wanted to have a group that I felt would fit together. So I selected those 8 based on them individually, their willingness. My big factor that I was looking for was willingness. Are you willing to lean in? Are you willing to show up? Are you willing to make change? Willingness was the big factor I was looking for. And then the second was, how were they going to fit in with the others? So I was looking for those two layers. And it was an incredible integrated group. Those women are still, here it is in 2025, these women are still, they're all over the nation, but because we selected from all over the states, connected as they call themselves sisters. And just a quick little side note, yesterday I did a Zoom meeting with both retreat group 1 and group 2. They wanted to meet each other, and we did a combined Zoom meeting just to connect in, do a little more integration, see how everybody's doing. And it was just a phenomenal feedback session of how everybody continues to evolve and grow and apply what they got from that 1 week retreat.
I think that, again, that's something that as women, that's a special thing that we have, is that communal. When you get the right women in the right place together, the power that can be generated, the connection, the vulnerability, and again, I've put on a couple of retreats myself, just more like yoga based and like wellness based. And even then, women, we are willing to be vulnerable when we see other women being vulnerable and sharing, what they're struggling with, it, be it diet, be it, mobility, be it pelvic floor issues, like whatever the fuck it is that we're talking about. It's then, another woman will be like, oh my God, you're also, oh my God. Okay. And then the sharing, and then when they leave, they came in as strangers and they leave. And like you said, they're like best friends. They're like, oh yes, we're going for coffee. We're going to talk about this. Here's the card for my friend. And I'm going to share, like I love it. I love it. So I can't even imagine how much more it would be when people are going through this like revival of like, you're basically starting your life, but like starting your life anew, right? Like you've shed a lot of the crap that was holding you back. You've shed a lot of the frustrations and the, like those long held beliefs about yourself, or that somebody told you about yourself. And you're going forth into the world a little scared and a little nervous, but you have this pack of women that you just went through, and they were there and they held your hand and they let you cry and they let you, laugh, and they were there with you. You know that you're not alone then when you have a shitty day, or when something doesn't work out, or when you may revert back to an old pattern of behavior. You know that you can call those girls up and be like, so I fucked up today.
That's it. They all created a WhatsApp, and they're all interact, and Marco Polo, they do a lot of video chats. You're right about that sense of vulnerability that they share in that reset. It is truly profound. And again, going back to what I started to talk about a few minutes ago, the bottom working in, they come in, both groups came in highly suspicious. They're in a functional freeze. They've been in this career of fight and fight or flight, and then still functioning at that level. So many of us that go, in our normal days, not EMS, we go into that fight or flight, and we are in a heightened state, and then we work to kind of go into recovery. Where EMS, these women are staying in that heightened fight or flight. They're hyper vigilant. They're always on guard. They're constantly monitoring their environment, and they stay there. They stay in that state. So the wear and tear is just so significant. So they came into the retreat, and they didn't know who I was. They didn't know what the heck this was. They were excited about something that they got accepted into, but then they were kind of suspicious. Some of them thought, is this a trafficking situation that am I going to be kidnapped? I mean, literally they had exit plans. They were, setting up, like, if you don't hear from me by 6 tonight, then you need to send the police. Like, they didn't know. It was such hypervigilance and suspiciousness. And then as they kind of unfolded, the relief that came that actually they were going to be cared for. And we even have a house mom, Charlene, that was part of our team. And the house mom literally was to care for all their needs, to do their laundry for them, to love on them, to take care of them, to serve any other little special needs they had. And the level of them letting go of even taking their plate to the sink. We wouldn't let them, after eating a meal, we didn't let them take a plate away. We didn't let them clear the table. We didn't let them do anything. Everything was done for them, to serve them, to let them really feel that full-on self-care, because that's part of the bottom up, is feel your body relaxing and being in that space, and let yourself down, quit, let go of the need to monitor. I mean, we had the grandfather, we were at our first retreat was this beautiful place in Malibu, and the grandfather clock went off, and they were like, it was like they thought they were hearing some alarm go off. And if they were smelling smoke from the kitchen, they were freaking, about that. So it was like letting go and calming down and knowing that all things are going to be taken care of. We did equine therapy because this is an incredible way to learn how to co-regulate your nervous system. Equine therapy is all about learning your own reflection back. The horse reflects back what is going on in your nervous system. Yoga, of course, to move and stretch your body, mostly yin yoga, restorative yoga. Such a powerful thing to get back inside your body. They're completely they all live a little bit outside of their body, beside their body, not in their body, even though they're strong. I mean, some of them brought weights with them, and they were doing workouts in the morning beautifully, and they had good nutrition. A lot of them have good nutrition, that they care about high protein, but, again, not always eating well at the right time or sleeping well. So all these things are being attended to. And then these other things like the Acudetox, the acupuncture is a way to reset liver and kidney and brain and lungs. So powerful to bring them back inside their body and make peace with their body first, to bring that nervous system into self-regulation. And then breath work, which was the underlying key to everything. They learned how to breathe and be in that belly breath for all things, because it helps reset. And that's something, even on the meeting yesterday, that came up, like, we're still breathing. Some of them call me mom. So we're still breathing, mom. We're doing our breath work, because that's the one thing that's a takeaway that they can do and take everywhere they go. It resets them immediately back into their parasympathetic nervous system.
Like I said, as a yogi, absolutely love it. I try and share as much as I can through this podcast, breath work and moving your body and being present in your body, and just taking, like, again, even if you can take 1 minute, and you cannot fucking tell me, listeners, that you don't have 1 fucking minute. I am more busy than anybody in the entire fucking world. I guarantee it. And I can take 1 minute to sit in my body, close my eyes, and go, okay, relax my face, soften my jaw, draw my shoulders down, take a big inhale, let that chest rise, feel my rib cage expand, feel my belly go out, feel my sits bones in my chair, feel my feet grounded on the floor, feel my arms and legs grow a little heavier, right? Like, you can that's how quick it takes. It takes that, and you're back in your body, and you're out of that fight, flight, constant hypervigilance.
Yeah. Yes.
But I do get from the other side, people thinking, there's no fucking way I'm closing my eyes for 1 minute. What could happen to me in 1 minute? And I'm like, okay, well, then keep your fucking eyes open. Like, I don't give a shit. Keep your eyes open. Look at a wall. Like, who gives a shit? But just do this, right? So yes, I
just do it. Yeah.
Yes, I absolutely love it. So when they're doing so now, because you're saying 6 like applications, I guess is kind of how you said it, or 6 doses or whatever, was like the
that's at my clinic. That's a standard for the clinic. Yeah. Okay. But at the retreat, we had a week. So we actually did an interesting thing. We did 4 sessions at the retreat. They got 3 full. The first session of ketamine, we broke the 8 women into 2 groups. Because these are such fixers, you guys are fixers. You're going to solve it. You're going to get in there, and you're going to do it. You're going to resolve pain, There was this process that we just did, and that was, we had 4 of them receive the medicine and 4 of them be sitters, hold space. And in holding space, they can't fix anything. So if they're the one that they partnered up with was struggling or crying or feeling joy and flying, whatever their experiential was with that ketamine, the one that partnered with them was to merely hold space and write down everything they said. And this was a really weird process for them. This was a shift for them to be just love and hold that energy for them, and not get in there and solve it if they were uncomfortable with what they were seeing or experiencing, or that they were feeling deep, big feelings. And then we switched them the next day. The 4 that had been sitters then became the ones to receive medicine. This was profound in moving them out of that role of being EMS fixers and shifting them into holding, each other in that beautiful, just gentle space of being present, being fully present. So that set the whole tone for the week, and being, in the space, but not taking over or taking charge. It shifted their brain. That was session 1 and 2. And then we did 2 more sessions with all 8 of them. And it was IM that we did. And
so what does that mean?
It's usually about a 2-hour process. Intramuscular, sorry.
Okay.
Intramuscular delivery of ketamine versus IV. We didn't have 8 IV machines to run. IM is a very wonderful delivery for ketamine. We do it in 2 injections. You get the injection, and then 15 minutes later, you get offered a second. So that lets them kind of determine if they are already in and they don't want any more, or if they are in and they want more. Nobody ever turns down the second injection, but that's just how the process. And so we do prep work to begin. We set up, intentions. They set an intention for their journey. Then they get their medicine, and then we let them go. It takes usually 45 minutes to 50 minutes for that journey. I bring a whole team of therapists. So everybody, 1 to 2 of them gets a therapist per each of those people. And they're scribing everything they say, and they're there to calm and remind them to do their breathing, which we've already taught them how to do accurate belly breathing, not thoracic breathing. And we go through that process, and we have a nurse on site, of course, medical support. And then as they land and come back in, we are serving them a lot. They have to fast before this. So we're serving them wonderful fruit and high protein and juice. And so again, they're landing into this beautiful space. And then we gather as a group and discuss what the experience is, which is so powerful as they share what they've experienced. And again, such themes come up, such profound themes as they share. We let them go. We just do a quick kind of around the group of what they saw or what they felt. We release them. We usually have lunch right after that. And then we do an afternoon. It's usually a 2.5 hour, what's called integration group. And that's where we dive deep into what the meaning of those things that they saw or how they applied it. They do a lot of journaling in between that lunch and integration group. So a lot of profound, deep work goes into these sessions.
That's amazing, because it gives you time. Then you're not being bombarded with like questions of like, well, what about this? And what about that? And what did you see this? And you get to actually kind of sit back and go, hey, what did come up? What was there? Oh, there was something on the cusp there. There was something kind of hidden there. There was something that poked its head up and then kind of pulled back. And that's very interesting.
Good
very
contemplation. Yeah.
And so then
and the places that...
Sorry, no, go ahead.
I just want to share one of the really cool things, going back to, I really want it to be a luxurious retreat, is because of the donors that I have, again, funding us. And I don't know if I can convey the absolute amazing experience of creating a retreat with no restrictions. I mean, I had a budget, but the budget covered everything I wanted. I had no restrictions in my creativity. You can pick where you want to house this. And so the accommodations were absolutely stunning. And that adds to that experience. And so again, they got to go out to these grounds that were so beautiful and lay out in these beautiful hammocks and lounges by the pool or by these beautiful green areas. And that's where they did a lot of their contemplation or napping or journaling or reading. And so that all adds to that bottom up grounding into the self and body and into that mind space. I love that idea that this could be offered to them, that nothing was scrimped on, nothing was held back for them, that they were given the best of the best on all levels.
That is, and like you'd said, like not even being allowed to take your plate to the table, because the additional duties that come on as a female, as a mom, as the household runner, whether you have kids or not kids, right? That, and then add on your first responder role, like the level of shit that we have in our brains that we are constantly running through at work, at home. We're driving to work, we're driving home. We're trying to transition between each role in the however long your fucking drive is home, to be ready to be greeted at the door by your kids coming ripping because they haven't seen you for 12 hours and mom, blah, 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 fucking hitting you in the face while you're like, I have not yet decompressed from 12 hours of fucking other people needing me. And then walking through the door and realizing, oh, my husband is out of town for work, or he's a shift worker, or he's a fucking lazy sack of shit and doesn't do anything. And I have to do everything around my house anyways. Like, regardless of the situation you're walking into, you're like, then you're also taking care of your house. And so to be able to take even just that stress off a female and go, everything is taken care of here. If you want to go nap, fucking light it up. If you want to go lay in the hammock for 2 hours, lay in the hammock for 2 hours. If you want to go walk. There is no need. You don't have to plan suppers, cook suppers, make suppers, clean up. Like you don't have to do laundry.
Nothing.
That alone, that taken off of us is like, I mean, that's why women love retreats. That's why we all want to go on retreats, because we don't want to do fuck all. We want to go somewhere else, have somebody else do it for us. Like, yes.
Well, it let them take the armor off and reset. And of course, it also is important for them to be able to put the armor back on. They were going back to work after this retreat, but because their brain, because the ketamine, actually, it's not just to feel good. Again, it's not about feeling good. It's about being better with the feelings. So that when they got that reset, the fluidity and the resiliency that comes with that ketamine treatment, the ability to bounce back, that ability to process out those big feels instead of doing that functional freeze and compounding. Then when they take the armor off, they have those tools and that fluidity to get through that. And it's a whole different experience. So when they were leaving, they had a lot of hesitancy, like, okay, now we're going back into the fire. Like, yeah, you are, and you're going to armor up for that. But when you leave work and you are going home, and yes, it's probably mayhem at home too, you can take that armor off and use those tools and count on your brain to have that resiliency and that ability to process everything through in a completely different way. You're not compacted. You're not emotionally constipated anymore. You'll be able to move through that, and you can deal with those big feelings in a whole different way.
Yeah. And that was
based on our Zoom meeting yesterday. They're doing it.
And that was going to be my next question, is like, when they're leaving with strategies and tactics on how to maintain this beyond your 1 week gorgeous retreat where you got treated and pampered. They're leaving with actual, I can do this on my own now. I can do this. I can come back to what I need to do. I've been given those tools. And yes, it might be a rough day and I might not hit it every single day, but I can do it when I leave, which I think that's the best part too. Because if you leave a retreat and yes, it was a wonderful week, but you go back and you just revert back to exactly what you did before, then
it's a camp high, right? Not an integration. So I will say, I do want to say that we highly, highly recommend that people, if they're not already involved in their own psychotherapy, that they get plugged in to seeing a therapist. And we do recommend ongoing, probably for some of them, they actually will need some what we call booster sessions with ketamine-assisted therapy. And actually some of them have done that. And so it maintains and galvanizes what they got at the retreat. So it continues that work. So those are the two things that we do highly emphasize to continue that process.
And so because we are in Canada and most of our listeners are, we have listeners all over the world, which I think is just completely fucking rad, by the way. But awesome. we are mostly in Canada. Is this something that is accessible to us in Canada?
Yes. In fact, our last retreat, we had a Canadian. She was just fabulous. Yes.
I love this.
Yes, it's open to states in Canada. I have a woman that helps me with putting out the applications, Alex Jabber. I think you've had her on your podcast as well, Dr. Alex Jabber. She's like my concierge ketamine queen. Well, I shouldn't say ketamine queen, it's gotten a bad rap, but she's my concierge ketamine consultant. And she's fabulous at helping access the EMS world because she was previously a paramedic. Now she's a doctor in depth psychology, and she actually says this is open to worldwide. We haven't had anybody other than Canadians and states apply, but because they do need to pay their own travel expenses to this retreat. We cover everything from A to Z, but they have to pay their own travel expenses. And of course, there is an application process. We interview from there, and then the selections come after that. And we only can take 8, but we do take 8. I will also say that we just got told on our last retreat, I got home and this amazing couple has now told us that they are going to continue to fund us for the next 10 years, one retreat a year.
Oh my God. Wow. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
I know.
amazing.
It all
Oh,
started with that Flaming Lips concert. And I'm going to ask
yes.
these people for everything. Yeah,
That
they're
is.
amazing.
So do you have the date set for the next one?
Okay, so yes, we just scheduled that and we'll be releasing information this summer. But yeah, I can tell you. It's going to be at the end of March of 2026.
Oh my God. Okay, listeners, fucking get your shit together. When the applications go out, we're going to
Yeah.
flood it. It's going to be a Canadian retreat.
I love that.
I'm going to send you so many Canadians. Is what we
Okay,
say.
we love Canadians. We love the Canadians. I don't know how much they like us right now, but we love the Canadians.
They like certain Americans. It's fine. And you're going to leave saying
sorry. We're sorry for what's going on.
You're going to leave saying a boot. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, applications will be out either later this month or early July.
Okay. Well, and so for our listeners, I will have all
if you see, we have a
Yep. No, I was just saying I'll have all of this in our show notes. So applications, the links to this will all be in the show notes. So if you are super interested, if this piqued your interest and you're like, holy shit, I want to do this, again, check out the episode, listen, and then check out the show notes because it's all going to be linked in there and you can find all the information that you need, or even just, again, information on Wabi Sabi that will be in the show notes as well. So yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
And so I want to wrap up just because I know we're tight for time. I want to wrap up. I do have some quick rapid fire questions that I love to ask my guests. And because you're not coming from a first responder background, you're coming from like a psychological background. I like this one though, because I think it'll be very interesting because you can come to us from the retreat. Is that what was your favorite snack or food on the retreat? What can I look forward to? What treats do we get?
Oh, yeah. Well, we had lots of treats, but I had something hidden just for me that we didn't. I always, for those late nights. Reese's peanut butter cups are like my downfall, just my total downfall. Yeah. But we had jelly bean, we had everything for them. Absolutely. Lots of snacks.
The Reese's peanut butter cups, they are good. In the middle of the night when you want a little salty and a little sweet and you put one of those in your mouth, you're like, boom, instantly better.
Honor. I can't resist.
I love that. Okay. And then, so again, from these retreats, so you had one in Malibu and where was the other one?
Palm Springs.
Oh, cool. Very cool. Okay. And do you know where the third one's going to be?
So we take feedback. We took feedback from the first group. We asked for honest surveys and they did a good job. And so we changed out. We didn't have enough certain things from the first. We upgraded to Palm Springs, took feedback from the second group. Yes, I do.
We're
going to Costa Rica.
Shut the fuck up. Oh my God. Okay. Fuck. I'm not an EMS. Can I come anyways?
Yeah. We're going to Costa Rica.
Can I still come?
Love to have you, Nikki.
Even though I'm not an EMS, will you accept me?
You are so welcome.
Okay, because I'm totally I'm signing the fuck up. Like I am signing up. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Sign the fuck up, Nikki.
I'm totally signing the fuck up. Okay, the last one I have for you is what would be a piece of advice that you would give to somebody that's looking to get into either an EMS career or a first responder career coming from your like clinical background, your ketamine background? You did already drop like you should be working with a therapist, which has been our number one piece of advice coming from all of our first responders. But is there something else that you would kind of share?
So take care of the body and then that will help take care of your mind. So yes, I agree that you get a therapist before you need one and not a life coach. I'm sorry. Get a therapist because you probably have already had a lot of trauma in your life. I get told all the time, I had a great childhood. It's bullshit. You didn't have a great childhood. You told yourself that. You don't know what you're talking about. Sit with a therapist, get radical honesty. You need to clean that shit up because it's just going to keep recapitulating. So second is take care of your body. And whatever way you do that, everybody's different. I heard you on another podcast, Nikki, and you're like, I hate running, but I like rugby. I love it. I like walking my 2 dogs twice a day. That's my thing. Get out, move your body, and breathe, because it helps reset that fight, flight, freeze function. And when you're living that all the time, you literally are destroying your body inside out. And so I'm all about self-regulation. There you go.
I will 100%, coming from my background as well. Literally, I think honestly what saved me through the 17 years, and it's crazy because it's just popped up on my Facebook memories actually, when I was having probably the worst time of my career, I posted exercise and I was fucking covered in sweat, looked like a bag of shit. But I was like, exercise. When you're mad, exercise. When you're happy, exercise. When you're frustrated, exercise. When you're sad, exercise. Because no matter what you do, even if it, like you said, even if it's outside doing a walk, it doesn't have to be where you're sweating balls and you're killing yourself at the gym.
Yeah. Don't kill yourself with exercise. Also, the other extreme.
Yes, but you exercise.
Move your body.
Yes, and at the end of it, no matter what you were dealing with, you feel better. You feel better at the end of it. You're like, huh, it's not actually that big of a deal. I can come back and deal with this stupid coworker that I'm dealing with, or I can come back and deal with this really stressful project that I'm dealing with, or I can come back and deal with this problem that I couldn't work out in my head. Well, now I've taken a step back. I've taken my brain out of that constant, like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I've done something else. And then the answer will come because you're not focused on it, and it will come. And all because you were out exercising. Like, I love that piece of advice. Love it. Well, like I said, this has been a treat. You have been an absolutely phenomenal wealth of information and just so generous with your time and with the knowledge and things like that. Is there anything that we didn't cover that you want to share with our listeners?
I just appreciate the time you've given me, Nikki. You are fabulously charismatic and enthusiastic, and that has just been wonderful to pull me along. So thank you for that. I feel like I can't think of another thing right now to share. There's so many other little side roads to go, and another time maybe.
I was going to say,
call me back. I'd love to come back and share more.
We can always have you back on the pod. Always. I mean, we'll have to figure out our freaking schedules, but we can have you back on the pod. I can do that.
Have me come back after Costa Rica.
Yes, absolutely. We will have you back on for sure. Well, thank you so much. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Blue Line Fitness Testing is a premier law enforcement fitness testing and training center based in Edmonton. Specializing in helping individuals prepare for the physical demands of a career in law enforcement, we offer comprehensive fitness evaluations, specialized training programs, and classes tailored to meet the unique needs of our clients. Our facility hosts a range of classes and are committed to fostering a supportive and empowering environment where clients can achieve their fitness goals. Our team includes experienced trainers who bring specialized expertise in law enforcement, self-defense, personal training, and rehabilitation. We engage through our community through challenges, events, and our podcast, and we are dedicated to helping individuals succeed in their fitness journeys and career aspirations in law enforcement. Are you looking to get started with your career? Come see Blue Line Fitness Testing, and we'll get you there.